What up, y'all? It's T-Turn. As y'all might have heard, the Nintendo Switch 2 is coming. Not anytime soon, but it is on its way. Around this time next year, we'll well know what the Nintendo Switch 2 is. Switch Pro, whatever. But there's some crazy things to talk about from this point. So this comes from a tweet from Nintendo's Japanese Twitter, and they also have an English version here, which is pretty much the current president, which started in 2018 of Nintendo, saying that we will make an announcement about the successor of the Nintendo Switch within this fiscal year. It will have been over 9 years since we announced the existence of the Nintendo Switch back in March 2015. And then of course the Switch came out actually in 2017, so it's been 7 years since the Switch came out, and by the time this comes out, at least 8 years. So yeah, Nintendo's fiscal period is April to April, so we will get this announcement before March 31st of 2025. They did also announce we are holding a Nintendo Direct this June regarding Nintendo Switch software for the latter half of 2024, but please be aware that there'll be no mention of the Nintendo Switch successor during that presentation. Oh, they know how ass the fans are. They have to let you know in advance. So yeah, first thing to announce is, as they said, the Nintendo Switch itself was announced in March of 2015. So you could expect a similar timing with this one too, right? If March is kind of their deadline for what they've just given, they might as well just stick to that. March is also a very interesting time period. So let's talk about what this means on the Pokemon side of things. You see, Pokemon Legends EA, there has not been a hype season that really started for it yet. All we had was the teaser, pretty much that's what it was, announcing it, saying it's another Kalos game. And they did also tag that it was for the Nintendo Switch. I'll put up the trailer right now. In the corner, they do say it's for the Switch. March 2025 is also around the exact timing of when the Pokemon Presents next year would be, February 27th. So maybe they'll just announce the Switch a bit before the Pokemon Direct, because maybe they'll make some plans with Pokemon because they know that's a special time for them, and they're probably gonna want Legends EA to push this new Switch console. Which, man, it's been a while since Pokemon themselves helped be the main event of a new console's release. They didn't do it for the 3DS because XY was 2013, 3DS was 2011. They didn't do it for the Switch for sure because their first Switch game was a whole year and a half after the Switch came out. Maybe this time Pokemon, this big #1 seller, can actually push alongside the console and help everyone get more sales. This sounds like what could be happening. You know, I say it's been a while, but Pokemon has never actually released something alongside a new console. Ever, even going back to the Game Boy. If it does line up this time, this would be the first time it happened. And so the ultimate conclusion I would come to from this, which remember nothing's confirmed, is that this Switch 2, the nature of it is gonna be still a Nintendo Switch. It's gonna be kind of like the 3DS was to the DS, or the ultimate comparison is the 3DS to the new 3DS, where the new 3DS is much stronger, right? But the new 3DS is still using 3DS kart games that are just made to be better on the new 3DS, but still compatible with the old 3DS. That's what I want to say the nature of this new Switch will be, just leaning back to how they put that Legends EA is for the Nintendo Switch. It kind of would have been better if they didn't announce at all what console it was for, if it was really going to be a console that wasn't backwards compatible. You could have a situation like with the PS4 and PS5 where games like God of War was, they made a PS5 version and then a PS4 version. And so the same could happen with Legends EA, where you can still buy a Switch version along with the Switch 2 version, which is totally possible. They just have to mention a couple features that are only exclusive to the new Switch and make it more ideal to buy, but still open it for everyone to be able to buy if they have a normal Switch. I think this is the scenario they're going for. And so as I said in the beginning, another part of the reason we haven't gotten even like a trailer or two leading up to this faraway release is because they want to save it to properly advertise it alongside the new Nintendo Switch. My personal opinion is I think it's in Nintendo's best interest to make it more like its own hardware that uses a different cart to the Switch, because the Switch is just so weak. They need to have a much stronger console. They need to be able to get more pieces of pie from the PS5, Xbox, Steam side of games so they can all be compatible and not just leave Switch out because they're too weak, or have to make a dumbed down version for the Switch. For the sake of that, a whole different cartridge entirely sounds like in their best interest, and the first year of games that come out from bigger companies after this new Switch is announced, they would just have to make a second version for the old Switch. And it's not as complicated as it sounds. All it is making a version of the game that runs well on the original Switch's hardware. They're not like literally redoing things. So yeah, I guess the best way to envision it is the old Switch being like the DS and the new Switch being like the 3DS, where there's a very obvious gap. And as you can see, the DS cards still work where the 3DS card slot would go. So this exact situation again, this is what I want to say is going to happen with this new Switch. So what features could they come up with for this new Switch to make it that more interesting to buy? Honestly, they don't need any new features. All they need is a stronger hardware. You know, I could totally see Game Freak doing something where people who buy the Switch 2 version of the game, they get like an event Pokemon in their game. The same way you had the Pokeball with the Mew in it for the Let's Go games, just to push people onto that side. Shank that like button, let me know your thoughts. Do you think the Switch 2, and for example Legends EA, will be fully backwards compatible and pretty much use the same card from the old Switch? Or do you think this is gonna be like the 3DS and a whole new console essentially where it takes its own cards and it can have its own territory? Y'all let me know. Let's see where this leads in the next year. I'll see y'all. Take care.